In the heart of America, nestled among the rolling hills and winding hollers of Appalachia, lies a story waiting to be told.
Vance, a Yale Law graduate, takes us on a deeply personal journey back to his roots, to the struggling steel town of Middletown, Ohio, and further back to the rugged hills of Jackson, Kentucky.
Through Vance's eyes, we meet a cast of characters as real and flawed as the weathered porches of their homes.
Hillbilly Elegy is not just a memoir. It's a raw and unflinching look at a culture often misunderstood and misrepresented.
Vance doesn't shy away from the complexities of his upbringing, from the cycle of poverty that ensnared his family to the opioid crisis ravaging his community.
Hillbilly Elegy is a story of hope and despair, of triumph and tragedy, woven together with honesty and introspection.
Imagine a place where the mountains stand tall and proud, where the air is thick with the scent of pine needles and coal dust. For generations, Appalachia was synonymous with coal, its mines providing a hard-earned living for countless families.
This is the world J.D. Vance brings to life in Hillbilly Elegy, a world where poverty and opportunity exist in a complex and often heartbreaking dance.
However, it's also a world grappling with the opioid epidemic, where addiction has cast a dark shadow over countless lives and broken families.
Vance writes with unflinching honesty about the poverty, the lack of opportunity, and the sense of hopelessness that permeates many communities.
Yet, amidst the hardship, Vance also highlights the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering love of family, and the deep-seated values that continue to bind these communities together. J.D. Vance's story begins in Middletown, Ohio, a town grappling with the decline of its industrial base.
We see boarded-up factories, a stark reminder of the jobs lost and the prosperity that once was.
For J.D., home is a place of both comfort and chaos.
Amidst the turmoil, he finds solace in the unconditional love of his mama and papa, his maternal grandparents.
Vance's early years are marked by a constant sense of upheaval.
Through it all, JD displays a resilience and a fierce determination to overcome his circumstances.
In the tumultuous world of J.D. Vance's childhood, his mama and papa emerge as towering figures, their presence both comforting and complex.
She doesn't shy away from speaking her mind, often dispensing harsh but well-intentioned advice.
They grew up in poverty in Jackson, Kentucky, their lives shaped by the hardships of the Great Depression and the boom and bust cycles of the coal industry.
However, Mama and Papa's own lives are not without their contradictions.
Despite their contradictions, Mama and Papa provide J.D. with a sense of stability and belonging that he desperately craves.
Mama, in particular, recognizes JD's intelligence and potential, encouraging his love of learning and pushing him to strive for a better life.
As J.D. Vance grows older, he becomes increasingly aware of the weight of his family history and the challenges that come with it.
I witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of addiction as my mother battled her demons, her life spiraling in and out of control.
He sees the toll it takes on his family, the broken promises, the shattered dreams, and the constant fear and uncertainty.
I struggled to reconcile the love I felt for my family with the pain they often inflicted upon each other.
Amidst the dysfunction, there are also glimpses of hope and resilience.
We both knew we had to be strong to find a way out no matter what.
Adolescence is a time of self-discovery for most, a period of figuring out who you are and where you fit in.
Surrounded by the social and economic struggles of my community, I grappled with a sense of identity, torn between the values of my Appalachian upbringing and the allure of a world beyond the hills.
Vance's teenage years are a turbulent mix of anger, frustration, and a yearning for something more.
I felt like an outsider, caught between two worlds, the world of my working-class neighborhood and the world I glimpsed through my education.
He rebels against authority, both at home and at school, his anger and frustration often manifesting in outbursts and risky behavior.
I experimented with drugs and alcohol, seeking escape from the pain and uncertainty that surrounded me.
Despite the turmoil of his teenage years, J.D. Vance finds solace and a glimmer of hope in education.
School became my sanctuary, a place where I could escape the chaos of my home life and immerse myself in the world of books and ideas.
He excels in his studies, displaying a sharp intellect and a thirst for knowledge that sets him apart from many of his peers.
They became mentors, guiding me towards opportunities I might never have imagined for myself.
His mama, despite her own lack of formal education, remains a staunch advocate for his academic pursuits.
Yet I persevered, driven by a belief in myself and a desire to create a better future for myself and my family.
As J.D. Vance navigates the choppy waters of adolescence, he finds himself increasingly drawn to the allure of the streets.
I witnessed firsthand the drug epidemic ravaging my community.
The temptation to succumb to these vices is ever present, a constant reminder of the challenges facing those who grow up in poverty.
I came dangerously close to making choices that could derail my future, my judgment clouded by anger, frustration, and a desire to fit in.
Yet even as he teeters on the edge, something within Vance pulls him back from the brink.
These moments of reckoning, often painful and humbling, ultimately lead me towards a different path, one that offers the possibility of breaking free from the cycle of poverty and despair.
The summer after graduating high school, J.D. Vance faces a crossroads.
I knew I wanted a different life, a life free from the cycle of poverty and despair that had ensnared so many around me.
Yet the path forward is unclear.
The decision to enlist didn't come easily. I knew I was leaving behind my family and my roots, venturing into a world vastly different from anything I'd ever known.
He's both excited and terrified by the challenges that lie ahead.
With a mix of trepidation and determination, I said goodbye to Middletown and embarked on a journey that would forever change the course of my life.
Section 2. The Crucible of Boot Camp, Forging Resilience and Discipline. From the moment J.D. Vance steps off the bus at Paris Island, he's thrust into a world of grueling physical challenges and unwavering discipline. Boot camp becomes a crucible, forging within him a resilience and mental toughness he never knew he possessed.
The days were long and arduous, filled with endless drills and physical training that pushed me to my limits.
Vance faces his fears head-on, overcoming obstacles he once thought insurmountable. He learns the true meaning of teamwork, relying on his fellow recruits for support and encouragement. The drill instructors, with their intimidating presence, become both tormentors and mentors.
They broke down my sense of self and molded me into a Marine.
Beyond the battlefield, the lessons of service and sacrifice profoundly impact J.D. Vance's life. While his time in the Marine Corps includes a deployment to Iraq, where he witnesses the realities of war firsthand, it is the lessons learned beyond the battlefield that truly shape him.
The Marines instilled in me a sense of purpose, discipline, and responsibility. I learned the importance of teamwork, of putting the needs of the unit above my own.
He develops a strong work ethic, understanding the value of hard work and dedication. The Marines teach Vance the importance of leadership, of taking initiative and inspiring others to follow.
Leadership isn't about barking orders. It's about setting an example, motivating others, and working together towards a common goal.
Vance's experiences in the Marines shape his perspective on life, instilling in him a deep sense of gratitude for the sacrifices made by those who served their country. From boot camp to college halls, J.D. Vance experiences a culture shock transition. After the regimented structure and intense camaraderie of the Marines, civilian life initially feels jarringly different.
I returned from my deployment with a newfound maturity and discipline, but also a sense of displacement. The transition from the battlefields of Iraq to the college halls of Ohio State University was a culture shock, to say the least.
The regimented world of the military, with its clear hierarchies and shared sense of purpose, stands in stark contrast to the more free-flowing, individualistic environment of academia.
I found myself navigating a new set of social norms, academic expectations, and cultural references that often felt foreign to me. I was surrounded by students from diverse backgrounds, many of whom had vastly different life experiences than my own.
The casual conversations about weekend plans, family vacations, and future career aspirations sometimes highlight the gulf between Vance's upbringing and that of his peers.
I grappled with a sense of being both hyper-aware of my background and determined to prove that I belonged in this new environment. I threw myself into my studies with the same dedication and discipline I honed in the Marines, determined to excel academically and create new opportunities for myself.
Yet the memories of his time in the Marines, the bonds forged in combat, and the loss of comrades are never far from his mind. He carries with him the invisible wounds of war, the emotional baggage that often surfaces in unexpected ways.
I found myself straddling two worlds, trying to reconcile my identity as a veteran with my aspirations as a student.
Finding his footing, J.D. Vance embarks on a quest for knowledge. Despite the initial challenges of adapting to college life, he thrives in the intellectually stimulating environment of Ohio State University.
I discovered a passion for learning, particularly in the fields of political science and philosophy. The classroom became a space where I could engage in lively debates, explore complex ideas, and challenge my own assumptions.
Vance's professors recognize his sharp intellect and unique perspective, encouraging him to delve deeper into his studies and to consider pursuing a career in law.
I excelled in my coursework, impressing my professors with my insightful observations, my ability to connect seemingly disparate ideas, and my willingness to challenge conventional wisdom.
His experiences in the Marines, while vastly different from the academic world, have instilled in him a maturity and a work ethic that serve him well in his studies.
I approached my coursework with the same discipline and determination I brought to my military service, tackling complex readings, mastering new concepts, and engaging in lively classroom discussions.
Vance finds that his experiences in the Marines have given him a unique perspective on issues of social justice, economic inequality, and the human condition. He's drawn to courses that explore these themes, seeking to understand the systemic factors that contribute to poverty, addiction, and social unrest.
I began to connect the dots between my own upbringing in Appalachia and the broader societal forces that shape the lives of those living on the margins.
Bridging the gap between Appalachia and the Ivy League.
As I progressed through my studies, I felt a growing sense of responsibility to my roots. My journey from Middletown to academia was not one many from my community had the opportunity to make. I felt a pull to bridge the gap, to use my education to give back and advocate for the unheard.
Vance becomes aware of the stereotypes about Appalachia and its people. He sees how the media often portrays the region as a place of poverty and despair, missing its resilience and community spirit.
I was determined to challenge these stereotypes and share a more authentic perspective. I volunteered at a legal aid clinic assisting low-income families.
Vance's experiences solidify his desire to pursue a career in law to advocate for social justice. Section 1, Yale and Beyond, Stepping into Unfamiliar Territory.
My path led me from the familiar Midwest to the hallowed halls of Yale Law School. I initially felt like an outsider, acutely aware of my humble beginnings.
He observes their effortless confidence and casual conversations about internships at prestigious law firms. He grapples with a nagging sense of imposter syndrome.
Yet I was drawn to the intellectual rigor of Yale law. I threw myself into my studies with determination and work ethic.
As Vance navigates Yale law, he finds mentors who encourage him to use his voice to advocate for those less fortunate. Reflections on Poverty and the American Dream.
My journey from Appalachia to Yale Law School provided me with a unique vantage point on poverty and the American dream. I witnessed firsthand the stark realities of economic inequality and systemic barriers.
Vance rejects simplistic explanations that blame poverty on personal failings. He explores historical, economic, and social forces contributing to poverty.
I examined the breakdown of family structures and the opioid epidemic's grip on communities. I challenged the notion that the American dream is simply about individual effort.
He grapples with the complexities of social mobility and highlights stories of resilience and determination. Section 3, The Power of Perspective. Unpacking the Roots of Despair and Resilience. Throughout Hillbilly Elegy, J.D. Vance emphasizes the power of perspective in understanding the complexities of poverty, social mobility, and the challenges facing his community.
He argues that it is essential to move beyond simplistic narratives and stereotypes to truly grasp the lived experiences of those struggling in poverty.
He challenges readers to consider the historical and economic factors that have contributed to the decline of many rural communities, the breakdown of traditional industries, and the lack of opportunities that plague many areas.
Vance also emphasizes the importance of recognizing the resilience and strength within these communities, the deep family ties, the strong work ethic, and the unwavering determination to overcome adversity.
He highlights the stories of individuals who have defied the odds, who have broken free from cycles of poverty and addiction, and who are working to create a better future for themselves and their families.
Vance argues that solutions to poverty must be as nuanced and multifaceted as the problem itself.
He advocates for a combination of policy interventions, community-based initiatives, and a renewed focus on investing in education, job training, and economic development in struggling areas.
He also stresses the importance of personal responsibility, urging individuals to embrace opportunities for growth and to break free from self-defeating behaviors.
He emphasizes the importance of hope, of believing in the possibility of a better future, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Mama's enduring influence. As J.D. Vance's journey unfolds, her influence shapes his values, work ethic, and worldview.
Even at Yale, her voice reminds him of his roots.
Her passing is a profound loss, a turning point for Vance.
He realizes her spirit and determination will continue to guide him.
He vows to honor her memory by making a difference in the world. J.D. Vance's Hillbilly Elegy is more than just a personal memoir. It's a powerful exploration of class, culture, and the challenges facing working-class communities in America.
Vance offers a raw look at the cycle of poverty, the opioid epidemic, and the fading American dream.
He challenges readers to understand the historical, economic, and social forces shaping lives on the margins.
Vance's honesty about his upbringing, from dysfunction to fierce love, makes the book compelling.
He paints a nuanced portrait of a community grappling with economic decline and cultural displacement.
It became a touchstone for understanding the frustrations of a segment often overlooked in national discussions.
Vance's journey from Appalachia to Yale Law School highlights the transformative power of education and mentorship. Bridging divides and building bridges. Hillbilly Elegy concludes with a call to action.
Vance challenges readers to engage in meaningful conversations about class, poverty, and the challenges facing working-class communities.
He urges us to listen with empathy to marginalized voices.
He emphasizes bridging divides, recognizing our shared humanity, and working together for a just society.
Vance advocates for investing in education, job training, and economic development.
He calls for policies addressing poverty's root causes, such as income inequality and healthcare access.
He challenges us to examine our biases and assumptions.
He encourages us to connect with diverse people and build bridges of understanding.
Hillbilly Elegy reminds us that the American dream must be constantly renewed and fought for.
It's a call to action for all of us to work towards a future where everyone can achieve their full potential.
Solutions to our nation's challenges will come from compassion, understanding, and bridging divides.